Our culture is the Titanic. We're this huge ship steering towards an iceberg. We know it's happening, and we're not quite sure what to do about it. There's been a lot of hubris and arrogance in getting us here, and it probably started with, one place we could say it started with, at least with the twin crimes of genocide and slavery upon which this country was founded. But it probably goes much further back than that, this disease that First Nation Cree people have called Wetiko, and people like Paul Levy, who's written a book on this, and Jack Forbes, who wrote a book called Columbus and Other Cannibals, and then even Rowan White has a really terrific series of posts on this. It's related to this idea, they call it a social virus. They call it this, it's sort of a social sickness, a disconnection from who we are, a form of delusion. That we don't actually know who we are anymore. We don't know how to live in the world because we haven't been taught. And it has this idea of Wetiko has some overlap with the Buddhist idea of the hungry ghost. And in Buddhism, the hungry ghost is always depicted as these creatures with these huge mouths and these huge bellies and then these tiny little necks. And so they can never fill their inner void. And they're greedy and they want more and more and more. And that's like our current culture. It's like all of us have elements of that. In fact, we have been brought up to inherent violent habits that we apply to, internalize, and we apply to ourselves and other people, other species in the planet. So it's no wonder that we're driving ourselves toward an iceberg. And by the way, that iceberg is known by other names: societal collapse, overshoot and collapse from the Limits to Growth series of books. People like Dana Meadows have done just an amazing job at telling us, hey, there's an iceberg coming. And furthermore, we know the physical technology we need to solve these problems. We have it all. We have all the resources we need. And we've never been more powerful in this Anthropocene epoch we're in. We've never been more powerful to change the things we need to change. But the problem, a lot of people will say, the Limits to Growth people will say it. I'm pointing over there because it's in my bookshelf. The Limits to Growth people will say it. Actually, it's on the floor over here. The Limits to Growth people will say it. The permaculture people will say it. Ecologists will say it. The hardest part is social technology. The hardest part is people. And it turns out that's what I specialize in because, as you know, I'm a clinical psychologist. I've gone through 13 years of suffering and 20 years of being a therapist, scientist, and author. And so the training that I do, called Kindness for a Change, deals with all of this stuff. Anyway, good luck to all of us. Good luck to you. I hope you have a good day.